I'm Danielle. I was recently going to report on something totally different, but while I was out talking to people in this small little town, Hood River, that I now live in, I'm very new here, I've only been here for a couple months, I came across something that I felt needed more attention. It wasn't that people were asleep. They were totally awake. I mean, not every one of them believed 9/11 was an inside job, but most of them said that we weren't fed the right story. However, they did not want to speak out on camera. They were afraid of their job, afraid of their family, afraid of their friends, their co-workers, afraid of their peers. It's a small town, they said. There's dirty politics, whatever. Small town. Judgmental people. So people were afraid to speak out on camera. They're not afraid to tell me how they felt. And who am I? I'm just a person on the street. What do I matter? So needless to say, that made me upset. And then I was given this by one of the people. Yeah, make your voice heard, they told me. Make my voice heard. Make my voice heard. Make my voice heard over a dead man? This man is dead. Hello? This guy is most likely dead. And he's the one that people are willing to speak out about. He's the one that people get angry about. That man is no worse than anybody else in our government. He was just out in the open about it. You see, they lie. We love you. We care about you. That's our government. That's what they do. It's absolutely disgusting. And we are so much more tolerant of them and their things than we are anything else. Why is that? Why is that? You wouldn't put up with your husband or wife lying to you as much as the government has lied to you, making up stories, taking your money, keeping you on edge, be afraid all the time. We expect more out of each other than we do our government, than we do politicians, than we do the people that are making laws that run our lives. What is that? What is that? How can you get more angry with your neighbor? I mean, if your neighbor had a 50-foot owl out in the backyard worshiping Moloch once a year, you wouldn't tolerate that. But yet, if it's our politicians, oh, they're just blowing off steam. Out of 10 people I talked to today, only one person was willing to put his face on camera, and to my surprise, he was very alert, very aware. Kudos to him.
Just started listening to the radio station maybe only about 2.5, 3 years ago. Right after I first got sober, after I first quit drinking, which has been almost 4 years now, I started kind of researching into the New World Order and global government, and Alex Jones' name came up a lot.
So when did you first find out 9/11 was an inside job?
I knew it the day it happened.
Yeah.
I woke up that morning and with all the reports that were going on, I mean, I can't say that I knew that it was an inside job, but I knew that the truth wasn't being told. Because the day that it happened, we had all these reports on other secondary explosions and all this, all this stuff. And then it seemed like not even a week later, they were like that day. Actually, they were saying it was Al Qaeda. How I couldn't understand how they knew exactly who it was the same day that it happened.
Yeah.
And then watching the buildings fall, me and my grandmother watching it together, and my grandmother was the first one to say, it looks like a demolition. To watch Building 7 fall, at the end of the day, was just that kind of topped it off. I mean, like, God, those wasn't even on fire. What? I couldn't figure it out. So.
Not to mention the next day, we sent the Bin Laden family home, and then a few days
I
after
didn't
that.
know about any of that stuff until probably about almost 4 years ago when I quit drinking. It makes no sense, and then you can look at other buildings around the world. Actually, one
Sears Tower.
Yeah, none of them fell.
Right.
There's been buildings in my claim before, and none of them have fallen. And then you have the physics professors saying that it's physically impossible.
I agree.
And nobody wants to hear that.
Exactly.
Everybody would just face up to the fact that there's a takeover, people laugh it off. They're like, oh, whatever, that can't be true.
That'll never happen in America, and it's like,
When you think
so it's
about
happening
it,
now.
when you first hear about it, I told myself the same thing. There's no way, man. There's no way. So I had to look into it more and more, and when you start looking into it for yourself, you start finding out that, oh, shit, it's true.
When did you find out about fluoride?
Fluoride,
You mentioned that Hood River doesn't have it.
yeah, that's what I love about it. It's actually right now I live in Wishram, they voted against
See, people, Hood River, out there beyond those doors, does not have fluoride.
Fluoride, I kind of, I knew it was bad. When I first started hearing about fluoride, it was actually about 10 years ago. And I knew that it was bad, but I didn't know what extent.
Right.
Just like,
Right.
and, actually, when I started looking into vaccines after my son Gabriel was born, is when I started finding out about fluoride, too. And, so that all of it's really happened within the last 3 or 4 years. My son Gabriel was 2 years old when I was drinking. And when I started looking
Awesome.
and I started looking into fluoride, and then to find out it's not even pharmaceutical fluoride that's in our water, that it's just waste that comes from industry. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It's a mind control. It's population control. It controls your senses, and like you get this feeling that you know something's wrong, but things like fluoride kind of dull that sense.
Exactly. Like, oh, well, you know, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing I can do.
Right.
And that's a horrible way to think.
I agree.
Especially in America, public is fighting for the people. And we have all kinds of power that we don't even realize. Jason.
If you're not angry, you're not paying attention. You should be angry. And if you're depressed, well, you should be. This is wrong. We're putting up with a lot from our government. Every day they're taking away rights. And I hear excuses like people saying, well, you know, there's nothing you can do about it, so why get stressed? There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it, so why get stressed? What kind of attitude is that? The defeatist attitude of America, that's what. What kind of crap is that? I thought that they used our money to fund their operations. What do you mean we don't have a say? They use our money. It's time we gotta take the power back, people. Stop being mice. Stop being afraid. Stop scurrying at the sign of trouble. Because people just don't want to get involved. People just don't want to get involved. Yeah, you'll wait for someone else to do it. That's the problem, America. We've been waiting for someone else to do it. I don't want to wait anymore. I say we do it. We take the power back, and we do it now. If we wait for someone else, they probably won't do it, and they won't do it right. We gotta do it. This is ridiculous. You mean to tell me, oh, you'll speak out about this guy. What's trendy? Oh, I'll speak out about what's trendy. I'll speak out about what's in. Things like 9/11, that's no longer in. Things like, you know, Oklahoma bombing. People hardly ever talk about that one anymore. I knew that was an inside job that day too. Give me a break. Anytime they're gonna put a baby like that on a magazine, you better believe it's propaganda. So I really am thankful that that one person in this small town, and it's not that small, I've lived in smaller, decided to talk to me. One person, I'll stress that again, decided to put himself on camera and not be afraid. People. A great president once said, the only thing you have to fear is fear itself.